there, my name is Pam,
My name is Justin.
and we like to talk about monsters.
Yes, we do. What are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about Minotaurs.
Ooh,
The mighty Minotaur.
mighty minotaurs.
Mighty Minotaur. Not Minotaurs, Minotaur.
Yes.
You see, because there was only one. There can be only one Minotaur.
Yeah. Why is that? That everybody thinks that there's so many running around.
Well, I think it's because when you see movies or other pop culture things, you know, if you play D&D, you're going to be fighting Minotaurs. You're not going to be fighting a Minotaur.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. It's like a species, right?
Yeah.
Like elves. Okay. So the mighty Minotaur. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you about the mighty Minotaur, and I know you know about the Minotaur. When I was researching this eons ago, I was so excited about different parts of this story and how freaking ridiculous they were that I told you a little bit about it. So
That's okay. Tell me about this cowboy.
why is he a cowboy?
He's a cowboy.
He's not a cowboy.
He's the cowboy.
Oh my God. He's a bull boy, actually. Cows are girls. Okay, so the Minotaur, also known as Asterion or Asterius.
He's got a name. That's cool.
Yeah, he was named because he was
Fancy
he
name.
was we'll get there, but he was named for good reason. Yeah, this story, when I first actually kind of was reading snippets of it in a novel, Circe. You say it. Circe. When I was reading Madeline Miller's novel Circe, I came along a little portion in the book where the Minotaur was mentioned, and I'm not going to really get into that because #spoilers, but it's a darn good book and you should go read it. But it went through the Minotaur a little bit and I was like, what? Really? So then, of course, I had to actually look that up. And here we are.
Okay.
So I chose Minotaur as my first tale for monster lore because it was so intriguing. It's nothing I'd learned in school before. So,
Well, don't
you know,
they
and
kind of have
those-
to keep school PG?
right? They would take out all the scandalous bits. Let's just say that. Okay. So let's talk a bit about the appearance of the Minotaur
Yeah.
before we get started. So, you know, we all know that the Minotaur, I mean, you might not all know. Maybe you know nothing about Minotaurs. That's okay. Let me fill you in here in a fun and educational way. The appearance of the Minotaur, depending on which source you're getting this information from, is basically the body of a man, the head of a bull, possibly the tail of a bull, and also hooven feet. Cloven feet.
Hooves instead of feet.
Hooves. Is it
Hooves
cloven?
as feet?
So here's just like is it cloven feet
Cloven hooves?
or
maybe?
hooved feet? Well, I guess if it was hooved feet, you would have hooves on your feet instead of.
No, that's a weird image. Like there's a whole bunch of like little hooves on the end of your toes.
Right?
I'm pretty sure that's not right.
Or you like have a foot
Oh,
and then they put
That's
like
some biblically accurate angel stuff.
hooves on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to discuss today. However, we know this information. You've seen them in movies and probably video games if you play games. We do. D&D if you play D&D. Minotaurs, right? I'm going to talk about the origin of the Minotaur because it's fascinating.
Well, I want to hear it now.
Oh, I know you do. It's scandalous. You like a good
Scandalous.
scandal. I like a good scandal. I mean, don't we all like scandals?
I mean, there's entire industries built on scandal, whether it's real or not.
Right? Okay, so this story begins in Crete.
Crete? Where is Crete?
Crete. Crete is a Greek island and city-state. It began as a competition over who would rule after the king died, as a lot of things do.
That's pretty popular throughout ancient history.
So, Europa, you have a player here. Europa,
Yeah.
okay?
Which is related somehow to the moon of Jupiter, I'm assuming.
I don't know. Is this just one of those like factual things you have stuck in your brain someplace?
Yes. I just have like a infinitely tall shelf to pull stuff off of.
Your mind palace runs deep, my friend.
Yeah.
So, Europa
Yeah.
married the king of Crete, Asterion.
Okay.
Okay. She gave birth to 3 sons with Zeus.
What a guy.
So she gave birth to 3 sons with Zeus while Zeus was in bull form. And believe it or not, that has nothing to do with the Minotaur.
We're not even at the good
We're
part
not
yet.
even at the good part yet. This is just backstory stuff
This is
that
not
I thought
your
was tantalizing.
Disney Zeus family, by
Oh
the way.
no!
This is
right?
like...
She gave birth to 3 sons, not with Asterion, but with Zeus in bull form. Apparently,
Were these
this
like
is from.
triplets, or was this just like he kept coming back?
I don't actually know the answer to
Oh,
that question. If
wow.
someone knows the answer to that, drop it. I feel like he kept coming back.
Yeah, I mean...
Because otherwise, how would you get into that
Get to
argument
live
for
out your
line of succession or whatever?
bull fetish?
Uh,
As a
hey, let's
changing
keep it
deity?
PG there.
That was PG.
Is it his bull fetish or is it hers? I mean,
It kind of sounds like both.
Europa's 3 sons, Minos, Sarpedon, Minos, Sarpedon, and Rhadamanthus.
What a name.
Rhadamanthus.
Rhadamanthus. I am not an expert in ancient Greek language.
Neither am I, but that one's a mouthful.
It's also awesome. It's pretty awesome.
So it's Minos that plays a part in our little story today.
Yeah, we didn't even get to hear about the guy with the extra cool name. Maybe another day.
It's Minos who plays an important role in our story today to prove that he had the right to rule as king. He boasted that he had the favor of the gods. I got the gods on my side.
As one does.
Yeah. He had the authority to rule from the gods. They're like, yeah, you got it, babe. In order to actually prove this to everybody around him, Minos sacrificed to the god Poseidon that Poseidon would send him a white bull that he would then in turn sacrifice to the god Poseidon, proving his worthiness and therefore show that he has the favor of the gods.
Okay, so Poseidon sent him a white bull to sacrifice back to Poseidon.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I got that right, because
Yeah.
it sounds just like there's a lot of backroom deals going on.
It sounds
here.
like stacking the deck in
Yeah,
your
right.
favor,
Like,
right?
Yeah. I really need a white bull on my sacrifice list this year so I can show up my brother Zeus. I'm gonna give this guy one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
because he
it.
lives on an island, and you know, islands are kind of more my thing than the other guy.
Yeah, near
Yeah.
water or whatever.
So I'm gonna slide him a white bull, and then I get the white bull back in the sacrifice, and I can be like show up at, you know, some festival later on in Olympus and be like, oh, check out this white bull they sacrificed.
That's right.
pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
they must love me so much they sacrificed a bull to me.
And an albino bull.
No,
on top of that.
I didn't give it to him. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just completely on their own.
Okay. They just had it. So then Minos, of course, grew attached to the beautiful white bull and
Uh-oh.
refused to sacrifice it to Poseidon. Which
Yeah.
I tell you, my friends, that never goes well.
No, you don't cut backroom deals with Greek gods and come out on top of that.
No. And then you're like, oh, no. I like this gift you give me. I'm not going to sacrifice it to you. I'm going to try to, like, give you something else. What I want to know is, like, what he sacrificed in the beginning to Poseidon to get his attention. It must have been
Yeah.
good. I didn't find that information.
Ooh. I mean, if it was good enough to get his attention, wouldn't that be, like, as good as the white bull anyway? Like,
You would think
yeah.
it would be really good.
Maybe there's
I don't know.
something special
There's
about the white
something-
bull thing.
Is there something missing there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the correct books.
Plot hole.
Plot hole. Sorry. Bad storyteller. Naturally, this pissed Poseidon off,
Yeah.
right? I gave you this bull. Why aren't you sacrificing it to me? So, you know what Poseidon did?
I would love to hear it.
Poseidon made Minos's wife, Pasiphae, fall in love with this beautiful white bull.
Oof.
Right? No,
That's-
but here's the thing. I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to punish your wife.
I don't
And
know.
in turn you by having your wife fall in love with the white bull.
Maybe.
Why is it when the husband does something wrong, the wife gets punished?
What are you looking at me for? I'm not an ancient
I'm just
cosmic
asking.
deity.
So this is one version.
Yeah.
I did read that in other versions, it was Aphrodite and jealousness cursed Pasiphae to fall in love with the bull, or that Poseidon had asked Aphrodite as a favor
Right.
to get her to do it, to make Pasiphae fall in love with the bull. And if you don't know, Aphrodite is the goddess of love and beauty. So,
Yes.
it would be right up her alley. And she does that on numerous occasions, nasty things to people who have slighted her in
sometimes
a way.
literally nothing.
They just existed. Either way, Pasiphae was punished because her husband was greedy and selfish.
Yeah. That's
the bottom line here. I don't care how you shovel that or shovel it. Shovel it. That's kind of what I got. The gist of this is that she got punished because of her husband. Let's get to the good parts.
right. Yeah.
Pasiphae is in love with a gorgeous white bull. What's a girl to do?
She really likes cowboys.
Anyway, so as her love and passion for the bull grew, she was beside herself and didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So one day when she couldn't take it any longer, she went to her master maker,
Yeah.
Daedalus, who's a
Ooh.
pretty cool dude,
Yep.
and requested that he build her something.
This is
I kid you not, she requested that Daedalus build her a cow costume
cow costume.
that she might be with the bull, if you get my drift.
Right. He
How do you broach that conversation
Yeah.
in your little fortress or castle or whatever? You're like, hey, Daedalus, so yeah, I see you're really busy fixing these stairs and making this beautiful grand piano and these wings for your son Icarus, but I really, really would love it if you could, make me a cow costume.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Oh, I don't know. No apparent reason.
Because
Just,
she's the queen, and if I say no, I die.
do you think it's more like, hey, Daedalus, build me a cow costume?
Maybe. But I mean, people, no matter who it is, who don't do what the queen says, don't end up well in a lot of stories either. So.
Right. Well, I think Daedalus went up above and beyond this request for this cow costume because sure enough, he did build her a cow costume. He made her a beautiful cow costume.
Yeah.
He made Pasiphae a cow costume that was covered in cowhide. It was made of wood and covered in cowhide to disguise her inside of it. And that's one thing. Okay, yeah, I've made you the costume.
Yep.
It's this wooden cow. I've covered in cowhide. It's perfectly disguised. Daedalus deserves a raise for the next part.
Yeah.
He puts the queen inside of it.
I mean, he's got to help her get dressed for the occasion.
Yeah. I mean, you might argue with this that he doesn't deserve a raise because he was an active participant in this and she could have been I can see all the other points of view of why, if you're the queen's friend, you might be like, hey, why are you in love with the bull? Snap out of it. No. He built her the cow, the wooden cow. He covered in cowhide. He put wheels on the bottom of it so it was easily
mobility
moved,
is
right?
great.
It's mobility,
That's a
right?
good touch.
And then he put the queen inside of it and then wheeled her to the grove where the white bull was.
It's, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what you do.
So if you think
If you build
Daedalus
something that
reserved,
complicated, and you know, you want to make sure it works, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into the mechanics of all this, but if you think Daedalus deserves a raise, give us a thumbs up. If you think he doesn't, or you're like, I don't care about any of this crap, well, I don't know.
Leave a comment
Yeah.
saying how wrong it is that he did this for her.
Yeah. Close your ears, young ones, for the next part is, shall we say, a little bit scandalous.
Like many Greek myths.
As he waits with bated breath.
Yes.
So the bull, of course, assumed Pasiphae in her cow costume was a real cow. And he was like, oh yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
And he's been all alone on the little island, Crete, by himself. And
Yeah.
he decided it's mating season. So he mated with Pasiphae in cow costume.
Yeah. Good. Good for her. She's a go-getter.
Yeah, the queen did the dirty with the white bull.
I mean, I guess when you're the queen, you get to make stuff happen, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, and even in disguise, I can't fathom that. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't fathom it.
Uh-huh.
Like I know it's a myth. But I can't. No, I can't fathom that.
I'm sure there's somebody waiting to comment
Yeah,
on the mechanics.
I'm sure.
I'm sure you
Please don't.
probably shouldn't.
Don't. Yeah,
sounds-
leave that for private conversations at home. Okay, so moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Naturally, children, we all know what happens when you have unprotected sex.
You know, in mating season.
In mating season. If you're really lucky, you get pregnant. So Queen Pasiphae became pregnant with the white bull's child.
Well, I mean, it is something to remember that this is like some magical albino bull that was, you know,
Well, it was special from
handed
Poseidon.
down from Poseidon.
I kind of wonder, just like theorizing here.
Yeah.
If this bull, no, that would be too weird. I was just thinking if the bull was actually in part a little bit Poseidon, then it would be Poseidon. Maybe he had himself imbued into the bull just to like give Minos that little like jab in the kidneys or something. But again, if he was partially the bull, then the bull was supposed to be sacrificed and Poseidon would be sacrificed to himself. And that's just a little weird and off the wall. But
well, I don't know.
it's just my
You go
brain went
further
into
north
like
and that was a thing.
right. Well, my brain just went to a turning in that direction. So, maybe this is his way to get back at Minos by,
Yeah.
giving it to Minos' wife. Okay, so this is a fun one to start with.
Yeah.
But
Bold choice for the very first
bold
one.
choice.
Very.
Moving on. After a usual people bull gestation period.
Yeah.
w-
No, they didn't have that detail in the story. Like, how long did that take?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I kind of want to Google it.
It's just like
How long is bull gestation? I'm Googling it.
It's just like
I'm Googling it.
one of those Mr. T jokes where it's like it took 3 women 5 years to give birth to Mr. T.
So we just Googled it, and cow gestation is around 9.5 months or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, any dairy farmers out there. So 9 to 10 months, maybe, I think, possibly. So, and human gestation is 9 months. So we're right on this,
Yeah, it's pretty close.
It's about the same.
Nobody would have known.
Ish. Nobody would have known. How would you know? Yeah, after the gestation period, Queen Pasiphae gave birth to the Minotaur. Put that into your tabletop adventure, I dare you.
So what happened next?
Okay, so you'd think that would be the end of it, and Minos would take the creature and like toss it into the ocean, back into the sea, and say, "Thanks, Poseidon, but no thanks."
Right.
But no, the queen decided she was super happy that she had given birth to this Minotaur baby, and she decided to name it. You don't name things unless you're gonna keep it. It's her baby.
Minos was just like, oh, now you named it. Now we can't get rid of it.
Yeah. And she, you know what she named it?
What?
Asterion.
Wasn't that Minos' dad's name?
Yeah.
Who's your daddy now?
Who's your daddy now? But also, like, isn't that a bit of a stab in the back afterwards, or a little like, I'm gonna get you back a little bit? Yeah, you didn't sacrifice that bull, honey, and I was made to fall in love with it and mate with it and have a child with it. I'm gonna name it after your dad. Side note.
Yes.
Guess who got punished for the affair?
Oh, I'm gonna say Pasiphae, probably. No, not Pasiphae.
Daedalus.
Daedalus. Oh, the Daedalus, the enabler.
Daedalus, the enabler, got punished instead of his wife.
Yeah.
For the affair.
Oof.
That it's his fault for not sacrificing the bull in the first place. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let's.
Daedalus taking the fall.
So Pasiphae did her best to feed her little baby Asterion, the Minotaur. She actually breastfed him.
Yeah.
And did her best to take care of him. But as he grew, he became more monstrous and more uncontrollable. After a while, she couldn't continue to care for the Minotaur because the breast milk wasn't enough, and she couldn't, once it got bigger and it was more monstrous and uncontrollable, and they couldn't feed it enough things that it liked, it started to eat people.
Oof.
Yeah.
The other white meat.
Right. She couldn't find a food source to satisfy its hunger, so it started to eat people.
Of course. I mean, that's one thing the ancient world had like just plenty of passing around. We'll just throw this one in there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would this be considered cannibalism?
I would say
he's not people.
Well, but technically he's
half people.
Partly people. He doesn't act like people, and I think that's the important distinction.
Right? That's just some food for thought.
I guess the next question is it cannibalism if he eats cows?
Right? If it's cannibalism if he's eating people, then it would be cannibalism if he's eating cows. Because he's half of either.
We're asking the important questions.
We are. Okay, so, at this point, they didn't kill the Minotaur. Why would they do that? No.
Well,
Minos went to his trusty maker friend, Daedalus.
Yeah.
And he had him construct a cage to keep the Minotaur inside.
Wasn't Daedalus punished, though?
Oh, yeah, he was
there?
punished. I don't know how he was punished, but he was blamed for things. I'm sure.
How dare you?
I'm sure there was something like, did he go in and break some of his
request?
Tools or something like that?
Wow.
If someone broke my tools, I'd be upset.
Mob mentality, like, oh, you owe us money, so I'm gonna break your legs, therefore making it harder for you to like go to work and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So Daedalus built a cage. I'm just moving on from that.
Yeah.
Daedalus built a cage for the Minotaur, and he built an elaborate labyrinth to keep the Minotaur in.
Yeah.
And a labyrinth is just a giant maze. We now have the Minotaur in the labyrinth, just living and I suppose eating people that they send in there because they're like, oh, you've been bad, you go into the labyrinth and feed my child.
Capital punishment.
Sure. Yeah. So the Minotaur's in his cage. During this time, Minos' other son, Androgeus.
There you go. Let's go with that one.
Androgeus. So Minos' other son,
Androgeus.
His other son, Androgeus, travels to Athens to participate in the Athens Games.
Yeah.
Long story short there, he dies.
Oh.
So of course, what do you do if you're a king and your son goes to another country and participates in games and dies,
You go to war?
you go to war.
Yeah.
Yay! Ding, 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 ding. So Minos wages war on Athens. Guess who wins? Minos. He wins his war against Athens for the death of his son. And in payment for this war that was waged and winning, Minos demands that Athens sends tribute to Crete every 9 years.
Right.
I don't know why it's 9 years, but it's every 9 years. And he wants 7 maidens and 7 sons to be sent to Crete. I also read that this occurred every year and not every 9 years, but in some sources they say every 9 years, and some sources they say every year. What I'm going to say next makes me kind of think it would be more often than every 9 years.
Yeah.
But because I feel like that would be a long period of time to not have food.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how, 9 years would be a pretty long time.
A pretty long time to not feed your Minotaur
Yeah.
in the labyrinth, that you probably want that food source coming in a little bit sooner. I feel like it is every year because on the 3rd year,
Yeah.
something happens. So not the 3rd, 9th year, because then, also
Right.
Minos would be like super old. Yeah, so on the 3rd year, Theseus, who is the son of King Aegeus,
Yeah.
volunteers to go to Crete to slay the Minotaur. Huzzah!
Because we all know back then, if you were royalty, that automatically made you superpowered.
Yeah. He would go over. And when he returned, he promised he would fly white sails if he was successful and black sails if he was not.
Okay. That sounds like it's going to be important for later.
At this point, I should also mention
Yeah.
that while King Minos did have 1 human son, he also had 2 daughters, Ariadne and Phaedra. So, of course, Minos has 2 daughters. And when the prince, Theseus, arrives in
Yeah.
Crete, Minos's two daughters fall in love with him.
Of course.
Okay? Ariadne decides that she can't let her boy toy die in the Minotaur's labyrinth.
Right.
So she decides she's going to help him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, wouldn't that be bad?
Yeah.
Like, I like you. I like you too. Don't get eaten by my half-brother.
Yeah.
He's your half-brother?
Awkward.
What? So awkward.
Then you got to explain the backstory. All the dirty laundry.
So Ariadne pleads to Daedalus
Yeah.
for him to give her the secrets of how Theseus can survive the labyrinth and escape the
Right.
Minotaur and kill him. Gives her a ball of string.
Yeah.
I think if you've taken mythology in high school, we've all kind of heard this story. Theseus has the ball of
part sounds
string.
familiar to me.
This was very familiar to me. The other parts, no. This is really familiar. So she thankfully catches Theseus before he enters the labyrinth and gives him the ball of string. Says, "There you go, sweetie. This will help you." And he
Ball of
goes, "What
string.
the hell am I going to do with this?" This was so he wouldn't lose his way because
Right.
it's a maze and you're easily lost. And then when you get lost, the Minotaur tracks you down and kills you and eats you. So he tied an end at the entrance and off he goes trekking through the maze to find the Minotaur to kill him.
Yep. Practically speaking, this must have been like a really big ball of string.
So he ties the end at the entrance and he uses the ball of string. So it's basically so he can find his way out, less so that he can find his way to the Minotaur. Eventually he does come across the Minotaur, Asterion, munching on some people bones.
Yeah.
And he punches it to death with his fists.
Very practical approach, given that of
That's
all
what
of the
I
things
thought.
that they could have given him, maybe a weapon would have been a good one.
Right? He punches him to death.
Yeah.
Or so that's what I read. I feel like he stabs it to death is more accurate because, he's not Hercules or something.
Yeah. But
Right?
royal blood.
Nah, who knows? It sounds like a tall tale you tell the buddies after you've
I
out at the
totally
bar.
beat the crap out
Yeah,
of it with my fists.
I could beat that Minotaur. I did it one time. I went into the maze and I totally,
Yeah.
yeah, fists. Yeah, the Minotaur was slain by Theseus
Yeah.
with his
Pummeled.
fists, sword. You be the judge.
Okay, cool. So,
Yeah, and then he uses the string to find his way out of the maze.
right. The maze was the larger threat, clearly, the entire time.
I want to talk about a little, like, the Minotaur slain. That's the story of the Minotaur. I
Yeah.
just really want you to hear what happens to Theseus.
I want to hear what happens next, too.
Nothing really happens to him. He sails back to Athens with both sisters.
Both.
Yeah. But he decided along the way he doesn't want Ariadne. He wants her sister Phaedra.
Who
Didn't help
at all?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he leaves Ariadne just on an island somewhere. Off you go. Bye-bye. And he takes Phaedra back to Athens with him. But isn't he just a gosh darn fool because he forgets to put up his white sails?
Mm-hmm.
So his father, and seeing the black sails upon his arrival,
Yep.
is like, oh no, my son is dead. The ship has returned. It's black sails. And then he does what any king does, that if your sons come back dead from trying to kill a monstrous beast, but you toss yourself off a cliff and you die. So then Theseus becomes king with Phaedra at his side as queen.
So, like, he just like wins everything at the end. Wow.
I mean, he did kill the Minotaur, but
Yeah.
he was kind of a jerk to Ariadne because she wasn't as pretty as Phaedra.
guess
I don't
not.
know.
Maybe she wasn't, as good as at like making dinner or making other stuff that he would be interested in having made for him.
Right? Honestly, this is a story for women to not trust men.
That's like every Greek mythology story basically boils down to that.
We're gonna have fun with this. Yeah, that's basically the story and tale of the mighty Minotaur with a few other snippets of other people tied in. That's his origin story.
Yeah, full of things you can't talk about directly
Or with children.
or with children.
You may be wondering or not wondering where you can see Minotaurs in the movies.
Yeah.
So we did look this up.
Okay.
Yeah. There's apparently a Minotaur movie with Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Is it called The Minotaur?
I thought it was called The Minotaur.
It's just called Minotaur.
Okay.
And it is a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 4 out of 5 on Amazon.ca, and 65% like this movie. So you decide whether you want to watch it or not, but it's from
I think we need to watch it.
2006.
Oh, early Tom Hardy.
Early Tom Hardy. So yeah, there's Minotaur with Tom Hardy. Also, there's Immortals, Wrath of Titans, Percy Jackson.
I remember there was a Minotaur
Your Highness.
in Your Highness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Highness. I'd also written that one down. So
Also, a movie you can't talk about.
or watch with your kids.
Yeah.
If you think of any other Minotaur movies that are cool or interesting, you like watching, because we really like monster movies.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here as well, because we like monster movies. We like mythology and the origin of different creatures and monsters, and wanted to talk about it in fun, casual conversation format. So if you have any other movies that you would like to share, or they're really good books like that, just share it down below in the comments.
Monsters you would like us to research and talk about.
Oh yeah, if you have monsters that you would like us to research and talk about, drop those in a comment down below as well. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about other monsters, hit that subscribe button.
And the like button.
Yeah, smash it. The big old monster paw. My name is Pam.
I'm Justin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.